The iPhone 17 event just wrapped up, and while Apple didn't deliver any real breakthrough features, their marketing team sure tried to convince us otherwise. The problem is, those exaggerated claims can easily mislead everyday buyers who just want the facts. So in this video, I'll run through all the misleading claims, break down what Apple really delivered, and even rewrite their muddled specs free of charge. So let's get right into it. The first misleading claim is that the iPhone 17 shoots in 48 megapixels. Apple has been repeating this line since iPhone 14, and this year's event was no different. But the truth is only half there. Yes, the main sensor is physically 48 megapixels, but most of the time, you're not actually getting a 48 megapixel photo. By default, Apple uses pixel binning to merge pixels together, outputting a 12 or 24 megapixel image. That makes photos cleaner and less noisy, but it also means you're not capturing the full 48 megapixel detail. Unless you manually switch to 48 megapixel Pro RAW or HEIF Max, you'll never see those full resolution shots. So while 48 megapixels look impressive on the spec sheet, in practice, most iPhone owners are really shooting at 12 or 24 megapixels. The second misleading claim is the iPhone 17 has a 2x telephoto. This is the slide Cayenne Drance, VP of iPhone product marketing, used to present this feature. This slide is misleading because of how it labels the 2x telephoto. The iPhone 17 doesn't actually have a dedicated 2x telephoto lens. Instead, that 2x mode is just a crop from the 48 megapixel sensor. By cropping the middle of the wide shot, Apple simulates a 52mm telephoto, but it's not a separate optical lens with its own glass. This slide puts 2x telephoto on equal footing with the main camera, making it look like there are two cameras with distinct optics. Apple even lists the specs for the 2x telephoto as if it were real hardware. That's really blatant misrepresentation. So let's help Cayenne fix up her slides, and here is the better version. As you can see, I've replaced 48 with 24, which is the setting customers will use 99% of the time, and remove the non-existent 2x lens. So there, isn't that much clearer? The third misleading claim is that the iPhone 17's 2x telephoto gives you optical quality. This was mentioned by product manager Megan and repeated by other presenters during the event. But here's the problem. As mentioned, the 2x view isn't a real telephoto lens at all. It's just a center crop of the 48 megapixel main sensor. A true telephoto lens changes the geometry of a shot, giving you shallower depth of field and stronger subject compression. Cropping the main sensor can't recreate those optical effects. Even if the crop looks sharp in bright light, it lacks the aesthetic and optical qualities of a real telephoto. Apple's marketing makes it sound like you get optical performance, but in reality, you only get something that looks close in very ideal conditions. The fourth misleading claim is that if you upgrade to an iPhone 17 with the new A19 chip, you'll experience a huge boost in speed. This again comes from Cayenne, Apple's VP of product marketing, and here's why this claim doesn't hold up. First, huge is relative. If you're upgrading from something ancient like the iPhone 10 with an A11 chip, sure, the leap to an iPhone 17 with A19 will feel dramatic. But most people aren't coming from phones that old. They're upgrading from an iPhone 14, 15, or 16. For them, the jump to A19 is incremental at best, not huge. Second, the numbers don't back it up. Early benchmarks from September 2025 show the A19 delivers only about an 11% jump in single-core performance and a 9 to 11% improvement in multi-core compared to the A18. That's a nice improvement, but nowhere near what you'd call huge. Finally, everyday use doesn't feel any faster. Things like messages, Instagram, or email don't suddenly run quicker just because the chip is beefier. iPhones have been fast enough for years, and for most users, the real-world difference is almost invisible. The fourth misleading claim is that the front center stage camera can expand and rotate. Apple iPhone's product manager, Megan Nash, stated, quote, center stage camera uses AI to automatically expand the field of view and rotate the frame for you. But that phrasing doesn't really match what's happening. Here's why it's misleading. First, the center stage camera doesn't physically expand the field of view. Apple makes it sound like the camera magically zooms out to capture more of the scene. In reality, the iPhone 17 is just using an ultra-wide lens. What center stage does is crop into the wide view and digitally pan around it. You're not expanding the field of view, you're just seeing different parts of the same wide shot. Second, there's no actual rotation. The marketing makes it seem like the lens is turning, but nothing inside the phone moves. The software is simply shifting the crop box inside the ultra-wide frame to keep you centered. There's no hardware magic. The fifth misleading claim is that the iPhone Air has multiple custom lenses. John Ternus, SVP of Hardware Engineering, stated that the iPhone Air's, quote, multiple lenses give users the flexibility to frame their shot, end quote. That claim sounds enticing, like you're getting a bag full of real prime lenses built into the phone. But John, being Apple's hardware engineer, would know that this is not correct. When Apple says the iPhone Air offers 28mm, 35 or 52mm options, it's not switching to a new glass each time. These extra focal lengths are just smart crops or resizes from that single sensor. No physical optics change. True primes, whether it be 28, 35, or 52, change perspective, how background and subject scale relative to each other. Cropping the same lens doesn't do that. It only narrows the field of view. The perspective remains that of the original 26mm lens, so you don't actually gain the creative flexibility nor the quality that separate lenses would give. So let's update John's slide to help him present the facts more clearly. And there you go. The sixth misleading claim is the iPhone 17 has an 8x telephoto. This claim was made by Patrick Carroll, manager of the iPhone camera architecture, backed up by this graphic. This slide is another classic example of how Apple mixes real specs with marketing spin. The wording makes it sound like there's an actual 200mm optical lens in the iPhone. What's really happening is the hardware lens only goes to 4x. Beyond that, Apple relies on computational zoom, which is just a digital crop plus processing. By putting the 4x and 8x side by side with matching design language, Apple implies both are dedicated high-quality telephoto lenses. In reality, there is one lens, the 4x, and the 8x is a lower quality digital crop marketed as telephoto. So let's update the slide to actually clarify rather than confuse. And there you go. The seventh misleading claim is the iPhone 17 Pro gives you 8 Pro lenses in your pocket. Impressively, Patrick, manager of iPhone architecture, boldly made this claim with a straight face. This is misleading because it makes it look like the iPhone 17 Pro has a full set of dedicated lenses from 13mm all the way to 200mm. In reality, only 3 of those are true optical lenses: the 13mm ultra-wide, the 24mm main, and the 100mm telephoto. The others, like 28, 35, 48, and 200, are just digital crops from the main sensor. The problem is that digital crops are always inferior to real lenses. They throw away pixels, reduce detail, and struggle much more in low light. By putting them all side by side with equal weight, Apple blurs the line between optical hardware and software tricks, making it look like you're getting a professional lens kit when most of the focal lengths are just simulated. So let's fix the slide for Patrick, shall we? There. Isn't that much better? The eighth misleading claim is the iPhone 17 lineup represents the biggest leap ever for the iPhone. This claim was confidently made by Tim Cook at the end of the presentation. Tim, however, should know better. He was there when Steve Jobs unveiled the iPhone 4 with its breakthrough Retina display, a genuine leap in screen technology. Or when the iPhone 10 was launched with an OLED screen, Face ID, and no home button. a total design overhaul. By comparison, the iPhone 17 lineup is mostly iterative: thinner bodies, incremental chip upgrades, and camera refinements. Saying this is the biggest leap doesn't just oversell the iPhone 17, it insults Apple's own history of true breakthroughs. So there you have it, 8 misleading claims clarified. Hopefully this gives you a clearer understanding of the iPhone 17's features so you can make a smarter choice when it's time to upgrade. But what did you think of the keynote? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And if you like this content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to help keep the videos coming. Until the next video, I'm going to see you in the next one. Bye for now.